Hello lovely people, this is Ramadi and welcome back to another Minecraft video, today in English. I don't know why I just said this that weird. Well, it's one of those videos where I react to the new textures. Well, it's my first and possibly only video on that topic, but I wanted to react to all of the textures, so this is going to be a pretty long video. Also doing it in English so that everybody who might be interested in everyone giving his opinion on things can join me here. So, first of all, I'm going to look at a debug world and I'm going to go through those blocks one by one and possibly give the comments on the blocks that haven't changed, like, oh, I really like that change, that everyone's going to be like, that's the only block that didn't change. But no, so here we begin with normal stone, or some people call it smooth stone. It's just called stone, by the way. Yeah, as far as I know, this actually did change already. I'm just going to show you. I have got the new texture resource pack on. I have just renamed the folder that it came in, so it doesn't have this jumbled mess of numbers in front of that hash value. Anyway, so it did slightly change. I think Jasper moved a few pixels around and that's it. Alright, yeah. I'm not too sure about the granite. I mean, did it change? Well, I won't really be able to tell if I do this now, but let's quickly take off the resource pack. And let's have a look if I see any difference here. Like, it loads for ages, so I don't think I would be able to tell any difference. But I'm now going to remember how that looked. Okay, so there's basically a face here and that actually looks like a smiling face. Okay, and now if I put this back on, let's have a look if I still can find the smiling face in the block. And if you're wondering, this is going to be the whole video, so I can still see the face, so apparently this one didn't really change. So I guess those haven't been changed yet. The bird poop block kind of still looks pretty the same. The interesting thing is I don't remember the polished diorite to be like that, so I believe that must have changed. Or I think I'm going to do this now 1,000 times, but please bear with me. At some point I will just cut the waiting time out, but for now you will survive. Yeah, definitely. Here you have got a slightly grayish rim and the jumbled mess from the diorite block you have got also in here. Now with the new texture, you can't even find the right button in the settings. So this is going to take ages. I normally don't really use resource packs. Yeah, with the new texture, much less of this jumbled mess and this really sharp edge. Like in here it's completely blurry and out here you have got a sharp cutting edge. What are you going for here? Like I know you can't make diorite look pretty, but then we have got the andesite. Yeah, I must say I like those old spots in here. In the polished andesite, I really like that. That is not a bad block. And here we have got sharp on the inside, sharp on the outside. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. No. Yeah. Snowy blocks. What does it tell me here? It tells me biome plains, so basically this should seem good, but the snow apparently appears gray. This is a thing that also happened in the snapshots for 1.13. I don't know if that always has been the case or if it's just now, since 1.12, that something happened here, but that is not how the snow actually looks. So if we get a snow layer, which we are going to have here somewhere, that works. Like here. No, that is also the better one. Anyway, so grass block didn't really change, I think. Jasper did move a few pixels around on that one, but otherwise it's still recognizable as a Minecraft grass block. Dirt, coarse dirt, snowy coarse dirt, that is right. Still looks the same. Also the puzzle. Although, I think the puzzle here, did it change? Did it change? I don't know. I will actually remove the resource pack. Because for most of the blocks, for most of them, if they did change, then you see it right as you take off the resource pack. If the blocks didn't change or just a few pixels got moved around, you don't really see. So, no, it did change, because you see how those are pretty colorful pixels. And if you now put the resource pack back on, I believe it's much more turned down and blurry. And I must say, Puzzle, no, that is Puzzle, always to me looked like someone spilled their vegetable soup onto a dirt block. This is what it always looked to me, and that is weird, but at the same time, I think this is how the block should look. Now this one, this looks a bit like, well, a bit of grass and a few leaves on the dirt, which I believe is the initial idea of puzzle, but I like the much brighter design better, personally. But that block isn't terrible, it still works, it's just, I would say it's a bit disappointing, like, yeah, grass and leaves on a dirt block, yeah. Could have looked a bit different. Yeah, pebblestone, how I'm now going to call it. I'm not gonna call this cobblestone. That is not cobble, those are pebbles. There's a difference between cobbles and pebbles. No, I just butchered that. But anyway, yeah, that is literally what you find in Vienna on the Höhenstraße, which some people would say is cobblestone, Pflastersteine, which it actually is. But I think this cobblestone should be looking much more grand than this, and also once again blurry, really blurry, out of a reason, I guess, but I just don't know the reasoning here. Then we come to the other thing. Well, to this thing that is kind of similar, or also pretty bubbly, as someone said. I don't even know what style that would be. Because it's so it gives the impression of 3D, and this is what a few of those textures actually do. They give the impression that it's 3D, but it isn't. Now, if they would actually at some point make the Minecraft block models to be 3D, then this texture would make total sense. If it would actually be going up and down and up and down and up and down like such a floor might do, which I wouldn't like, but you could have that, then it would make sense. But just through the shading, just 3D through the shading, definitely good art, but it shouldn't be on a Minecraft block. So as long as it's not something like the piston or the end rod, which is actually 3D, don't do it. Please don't do it. Yeah, I always try that and always fail. Anyway, so for all of those things, it is pretty bubbly. The interesting thing is, birch and acacia wood just looks blurry. While the other ones definitely try to be like this slightly outbound 3D shape. That's just blurry. That's just blurry. That kind of still goes with the 3D, even though this looks more like a sharp edge, while this looks like a rounded edge. So this looks round, this looks sharp. So also the two oak variants here, or what is that? Yeah, dark oak and oak. They are not even the same. Like this is bubbly, this is sharp. So something happened here. The saplings. I never actually liked the sapling block to begin with. I don't really like that. I never liked the original, so I'm not really gonna make a comment on that because I'm not really fond of those. That just looks like, what does it look like? Sprouts, cabbage, something like that. I don't know what happened to that one. And the other ones are, yes, just decently how I never liked them. Bedrock, someone said that doesn't look right, but actually it looks like bedrock. Is it actually lighter? No, I think I just because I have always just seen bedrock in caves, I now think of it as being a dark block. But if it actually changed, which I'm not gonna check now, but yeah, that works. Water, I believe water did change, but we are then going to see that in a proper world anyway, because I'm going to generate a normal world then. And lava, as far as I know, it also changed, but it doesn't look bad. I think the lava works. Then we have got those things. Oh my god. I mean, I mean, it's supposed to be a face. And I'm just going to actually once again remove the resource pack. Like it's supposed to be a face. I don't know who made the texture originally. Now, even here, even in the current one, it doesn't necessarily do a great job at being a face. So you have got the eyes here, and this even looks like a bit of hair, and this. But in the new one, cause here you see that those are the eyes basically, and they are on the sides and really thin, while with the new texture pack on, they are in the middle. They are still as thin, but they got moved one to the side, and that kind of makes it highly weird, I must actually say. So it kind of reminds me of my grandmother, and why I say that is because of someone who has got a soft, tiny face and no longer any teeth. That's a bit what this looks like. So the older one with the eyes 1 pixel to the side and slightly sharper looked better, definitely. The Lapis Lazuli block. I mean, the one that we currently have is pretty polished. And I just recently, I think that was today, while researching a museum in Vienna, I saw this Lapis Lazuli fountain that we have in Vienna. I didn't even know we had that, but in the city center somewhere, there is a fountain with that block. And yeah, Lapis Lazuli is definitely not a polished block. Definitely not. So this comes actually closer to the truth. Like, actually, you would kind of have to mix a cobblestone and this, but please don't use this texture on the Lapis block. So this makes more sense in terms of how a Lapis Lazuli block would actually look like. And yeah, I think that is not bad, and that could potentially be used, I think, for building. Like, wouldn't that be a decent bathroom tile or some log cabin by the sea or something? I think that is not bad. The new ores. Do I like the shadow or not? Jasper asked that on Twitter, and I gave his tweet a like, because I was like, I think the shadows work, but I'm no longer that sure. Like, do the slight shadowing, like on the Lapis ore, it's not that obvious that it's actually supposed to be shadowing there, but does it work? I think it does. I think it does, but I'm not too sure. I mean, I already tweeted my nuisance at Jasper recently. I think glass should just be completely transparent, like just a copy of the barrier block. Like, you shouldn't even know that there is a glass block, cause in real life, and I know this from at some point having my window cleaned and also always when I got new glasses, when I put them on and looked through them, I would always go like, are there glasses in there? Because it's just clear. There is nothing to see. I mean, at the moment my glasses are completely dirty and possibly I'm not even seeing the blocks right because of that, but when you first get new glasses and the optician cleans them before giving them to you and you put them on, you don't see that there are that there is actually glass in the frame. So I don't think that should have any border at all. And Jasper and apparently a few other people at Mojang believe the glass needs to have some kind of streaking or border. So in that terms, a lot of people said that is awful, but I could live with that. If that was a glass block, I could totally live with that. Like, if you still remove that streaking or put it up that it actually is just up here, that could be the glass block. That is really cool. You can for once can look through it. You can look through it. That is an improvement 1,000-fold. The sponge looks a bit like rotten cheese, which cheese also usually is. And the wet sponge looks like dripping rotten cheese. It doesn't look healthy. And it's too soft. Far too soft. Or too blurry. Or some people even said too sharp. I just say too soft in a sense. And that looks like the old melon block, by the way. A bit like cheese and a bit like the old melon block. The leaf block, as far as I'm concerned, they work. Like, I have looked at them now multiple times. Now, I have my graphics on fast, so you might now, as soon as you saw it, go like, you've got your graphics on fast! This is a crime against Minecraft! I'm going to turn the graphics to fancy, just for now, and see the leaves how everyone else sees them, because I've always got my graphics at fast. I love it without the transparency in the leaves. I think the leaves in fast graphics look 1,000 times better because they are actually supposed to be blocks. But saying that, if you think that the leaves are just like this kind of flat thing and a few leaves and the rest is transparency, like in the glass, they work. I don't really mind them, but I like to. I mean, that to me looks a bit like a pixel accident, the birch leaves. Like, everything connected to birch is kind of a soul form anyway. Or a soul eyeball, or whatever. But the rest works, yeah, but I'm actually going to switch back to how I usually see things, and that is on fast graphics. So, leaf blocks, actual leaf blocks. And I think they just look decent. They are good. They are nothing to be complaining about. I never liked junglewood, but that is a bit of a concern in the sense that it's like the same thing I said with the planks. This is sharp. I think if you punch this, you will get a splinter that goes all the way up your arm and kills you. That is terribly soft. I think that should actually be bouncy. If I jump on that, I think I should actually bounce. This is not a hard block. It doesn't look like it. But once again, always a soul form. I'm not even... I don't really care how this is made better or worse. It's birch. Yeah, like here, on the darker one, like at the planks, the darker one looked more sharp. On this one, the darker one looked softer. I don't know what's up with that. I really don't know. Because I'm not a pixel artist, but yeah. Here we come to the other ores that are supposed to have shadows. Like, I guess they do. Do they? Yeah, here, on the gold, you can clearly see it. Those pixels here. Those pixels are the shadowing that Jasper talked But I think it works. Like on the slight one on the Lapis, I'm not too sure on, but the gold block, yeah, that works. That makes sense. Gravel and sand. Now sand. The first time when Jasper showed the sand, it looked like potato mash, and I believe this must be a revised version, because this no longer looks like potato mash. It looks like... Does it look like sand? I'm not too sure, but I think it looks slightly less soft, and that's a good thing, because especially for the red sand, which just looks like potato mash with gravy. That looks better, I think, than in the first showcasing tweets. Lava, as I said, don't really... We will see that in a survival world. That is... That's an oak block. Really sharp. Once again, a hazard, you can actually get splinters from that. Then I'm actually not going to be able to load in all of the beds, but I can try most of them. There we go. So this thing, I think, is a safety hazard. I think if I would be standing on this thing like I am here currently, barefoot, I would have got a lot of splinters. This doesn't look safe for work. I'm just saying so much. That is still potato mash stone. That is still kind of what the old texture had in mind, and that is actually now annoying me. I'm just going to clear that out of my inventory. There we go. This still looks like a potato block and not like sandstone. And that looks like a potato block thrown onto the Wiener Höhenstraße, as I said. Once again, a thing with a face that once again looks really small and really soft, but at the same time horrified. Yeah, the pistons. The new wood texture at the front looks like it's bubbling up. Don't know what happened to that wood. Well, it has been too near to the fire, apparently. So here we also have the plank that goes with it. Yeah, sticky pistons. Now, some people say that the sticky stuff should be... Wow, that was nice. That is apparently what Void talked about with the debug world not working. I just crashed. I'm sorry that you have to see that, so I'm going to switch back to my screen as long as I restart Minecraft. Yeah, it just crashed on me. And I think this will happen more often, because apparently the debug world in Minecraft just tends to crash. I can't blame it. It's a debug feature, and usually you write a debug feature if things don't actually work. So let's get back in and hope that it doesn't crash us immediately again, and I will actually switch to the screen here. Please don't crash me, otherwise I will have to place every single block in the game by hand. I actually know a way in which this will not crash, but yeah. Hang on. That should actually be disabled, but I'm going to... is it something else than fire take? No. So there's no fire spread. Alright, yeah. So maybe that will make it better, but I think we are going to crash anytime again now. But I'm going to fly cautiously. Can we please get those textures back? Thank you very much. Yeah, so what I wanted to say with the pistons is that some people say that the sticky stuff should also appear on the sides. I think that should kind of be a feature, but not too much. Like possibly on one of the sides. I think it could, like here on one of the sides, you could make it dripping down. But I don't think it needs to be on all four. except if that is how textures work, then it will have to be on all four, but otherwise it would do with one side. Looking at the bad parts, the pillow, once again, is pretending to be 3D. On an actual 3D model where the upper part is two-dimensional. So it is actually a 3D model, but yeah, just also make the pillow 3D. Mojang code developers make this part of the model 3D, and then we're fine to go. That's all I'm saying here. Redstone rails, powered rails, can I actually stand on them? No, I can't. Powered rails still kind of look the same to me. I guess they didn't really change, did they? Also the unpowered state, I think, is still the same. So then we fly through here. The downside of the piston did get this new texture here, the cobblestone, but not too much. Actually less than all the other blocks that are made with cobblestone. So I think that is actually kind of acceptable, but if the cobblestone does change for the better in a certain way, then this should definitely also be arranged in that way. Cobwebs, like that on the corner, I think it's actually just gray, but it looks a bit greenish to me. It looks a bit greenish. Can I just fall through? Yes, I can. Good. That bush. Yeah, I guess that actually works. Grass also works. The fern, I think, also does. What's the difference between you and you? I think you are two different ones, are you? Two dead bushes. So dead bush and shrub. Okay. Oh, tall grass that is not actually, that is in the wrong biome or something. Apparently looks like a dead bush, but is a shrub and is called tall grass. Okay. You learn something new every day. Okay, so here we have got the null pistons once again. That's not good. Stone brick. That actually looks like it has some kind of varnish on it. Actually. Which is a bit weird. But it might work. I'm actually now going to turn down the volume here. Because I guess now all of the fire is going on your nerves. Like bricks. So the brick block. Too soft. Far too soft. Too much mortar and not enough brick. Just what I can say to this. Yeah, the cobblestone. And this thing being an accident. A polished potato block that literally looks like potato mash put into a block. I would eat it, but I wouldn't use it as what it's supposed to be, a double slab of sandstone. Okay. Stone slab. Stone double slab. I mean, it is rough around the edges, but from something that is basically before concrete was in Minecraft, that was the go-to block for something that should be concrete. It makes sense. It makes sense, not saying that it looks subjectively good, but it makes sense. Iron block with those ripping in. I'm not too sure how iron blocks would or are made in the real world, but maybe that makes sense. I just think it's kind of strange that it is pretty strong here, then it flattens out, and then it's once again really strong. I don't really like this. Now the gold block. trying to be 3D, but not being 3D. No. No, no, no. The mushroom being 3D, trying to be what exactly, I have no clue. The brown mushroom, I think, looks okay. Like, they are not higher. Like, I will actually, hang on. Is the red mushroom actually higher than the brown mushroom? I think it is. Okay, so this one basically has a top while this one doesn't. Yeah, you will really need a long time to get used to this. This is fine, although I don't really know what changed on this one. The oxide daisy, green. Where is actually normally the green in the oxide daisy's middle? That is yellow. As far as I know, without a fail. I don't think those green pixels should be there. The tulip or whatever that is kind of works. I mean, I think that is a pretty difficult thing to actually get the texture on those things right. So I would say those work. Like, as long as they all look the same, yeah, that works. That bush, the azure bluet, or something. Oh, hang on, I actually need to go. No, I can't go further down. Let me just quickly. Yeah. So it's supposed to have this blue in it, yeah. So it's like a bit of white, a bit of yellow, and a bit of blue. And I think that works. That is once again because I like my leaves to look like this. I also like textures that are pretty much connected within themselves. So this, I mean, it kind of looks just like some blurry mess. But I think this is the best job you can actually do, and we will hopefully see that in a normal world. Anyway, what I should possibly also do, I guess that's done anyway, but is daylight cycle disabled? I think it is, yeah. Alright, so that one with the blue, that kind of works. Oh, I should have just set it to something like this, yeah. Then the allium, I think that works quite nicely. This also looks nice. This one, the rose has got thorns. I like that. But I think you should actually get hurt when walking over a rose. Because yesterday I went through quite a few rose bushes, and I tell you, it's not fun. What is that pixel? That pixel should be much lighter. Like, those pixels could once again be a bit darker, but this one needs to be lighter. Like, that brown in the middle of that flower, nope, that doesn't exist. So I don't know what is supposed to be here, because it doesn't even show me a hitbox or anything. I guess those are the air blocks. Are those actually air blocks? Possibly. Then we have got the rule. Did the rule change since the last update? I'm not too sure, but I think it works. Like, that is a lot of yarn jumbled together to make a rule block. That totally works for me. No issue in that whole rule ordeal here. I already commented on the pistons, so we go to this. Nether Oblique. We will also see this in the nether later. Once again, slightly bubbly, but less than the wood. So than the planks. So I think that can work, because it's like bricks shoved in, and they would have a slight 3D feeling. So I think that works. The quartz block, is it the quartz double slab. Once again, looks like a kind of varnish on it, but I guess you would put those things on any building block. So yeah, the stone slab as a double variant that is not completely polished. I guess that makes sense. Maybe a few of those pixels are a bit too rogue, but I don't really know if that has even changed since the last time. But I'm just saying those pixels seem a bit out of place there, so maybe remove them. Potato, pebble stone. Get out of my vision. The brick, as I said back there, too much in between, not enough bricks. Like such small bricks and so much glue, basically. Nope, that one kind of works, except for this varnish look. That works, yeah. The quartz thing, a potato pebble slab. What new blocks do we have here? Ah, yeah, TNT being all blue. Oh, why are you blue? You are next to fire. You are soon gonna be set off in theory. Yeah, so down there, I think nothing changed, or maybe the contrast. I feel the contrast is much more sharp. Down here, more sharp, on the side and on the top, more blurry. That's one block where two different things meet, blurry and sharp. So it isn't even consistent within itself. That is a thing you can be pretty mad about. And would that be actually a bluish tint, the fuse? Is a fuse not normally black? Completely black? Just saying, I don't think it would be a bluish tint. Mossy cobblestone, so the bookshelf with that thing on it. Although on the bookshelf, that thing, as far as I can see, well, on the downside, it kind of tries to be 3D. On the upside, it interestingly enough doesn't. Those are two different textures. It looks like the same, but it's definitely that looks really strange, because from down here it looks bubbly, from the top it looks less bubbly. It must be the same texture, but the books are messing with me here. So the bookshelf looks with the design on the sides, kind of the top gets toned down a little bit. That is actually nice. Still not saying that the texture is great, but mossy cobblestone, that works. Why? Because the moss is exactly on the parts that make the cobblestone look bad. Just put the moss on exactly those parts and you are fine to go. Obsidian, looking a lot like a coal block. A lot of people have pointed that out. Yeah, I think it needs a much more different look than a coal block. The torches, I don't know if they have changed, because there are a lot of things to do about this. Like the particles, as far as I know, are a different story, so it's really only the torch. And I think that one, that is still pretty normal. Then we skip to the end of the fire, the stair block. It's bubbling up, also too near to the fire, apparently. The redstone wire, I don't think that has changed. That kind of still makes sense. So we can skip this whole thing here and come to the monster spawner, like a skull with like prune juice red eyes, a dark mouth. Should those parts actually be connected? Like is it, yeah, like the cage design, I think maybe make it a full cage and connect those things, but otherwise I can live with that. Let's actually have a look how it would look like if it was. No, creeper spawners don't exist. What spawners do exist? Come on, zombie. Where is zombie? Here. If it was a zombie spawner, can you still see that it's a zombie spawner? Yes, you can. Alright, so that definitely would work for me. So then we can skip all of this laggy, jumbling mess here and come to the doors. Now, the upper part of that door doesn't look too bad. In my opinion, that might just work. But the lower part, I don't really know what to think of that. Because I can't really put into words what I'm kind of not liking here. I think it's the whole trying to be 3D design. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Now, now this is a nice thing with this diamond shading here. That is great. I think we must quickly get ourselves a retextured diamond here. So the diamond has got this thing in the middle here, which I don't really know what it's supposed to be like. I know kind of what the shape is supposed to look like, so, and that has also been incorporated into the block that once again is trying to be three-dimensional but is not. Yeah, I really don't think the diamond is too good, and so also the block falls through completely. I think the diamond should be much sharper, not that problematic. And yeah, once again, the 3D issue that I have with all of those blocks. Then the crafting bench, once again, all bubbled up, trying to be 3D on the sides. Still, if it would be 3D, then this saw would actually be pointing this direction and would not just hang on the crafting table. So here we have a fundamental issue of height and height perception and how that would interact with the things that hang on the crafting bench. So less bubbly, definitely. It needs to be less bubbly, at least for the crafting bench. Like, even if all the other wood stays the same, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. I mean, I'm not going on about Minecraft needing to be 100% realistic, because then we would have big issues with a lot of things here. But yeah, so the crops, that literally looks like a cornfield at the end of summer in Austria. And a bit like the advertisement for the Kinder chocolate. But it's fine. That is totally fine. I like that. The farmlands. I think it's even less not noticeable now between dirt and farmland. I think you will try to hoe farmland in the next times when this texture pack is actually the official one, because you think, oh, that's dirt. And yeah, just when it's hydrated, then it looks different, but this looks too close to dirt for my liking. The furnace. Phoenix SC said just 2 slabs. The furnace has always been just 2 slabs. I know what he's going for, but it has always been 2 slabs. Now, at that point in time, it's literally mirrored. It's the same on bottom as on top, just with different colors and slightly more pixelated here. Yeah, there needs to be more variation. I mean, yes, you have got this, I can't even control myself here, this black pixel here that is gray here. So it's slightly different, but on the whole scale, it's too much looking the same. Even if you're going for a double oven, there should be more detailing for both things, which I know with 16 by 16 pixels is pretty tough, but that is a choice that Jasper did to himself, because you can have textures in Minecraft being 32 by 32, 64 by 64, 128 by 128. So the limit with 16 by 16 is solely done by Jasper himself, on himself. So I don't think anyone actually asks to just have 16 pixels. I believe that most of the community would not mind upgrading to 32. And indeed, there are quite a few versions of Minecraft that now at some point need to have 32 pixel art, so at some point you will have to do it in 32, and then you will say on Twitter, oh well, I am limiting myself to 32 by 32. But anyway, yeah, this thing, I said the trying to 3D is throwing me off, and I hope that the other doors still come down the line, because there's one door that looks kind of the same like this, but yeah, really takes the cake. That looks like a six-pack. That is literally a six-pack on a door. You've got a six-pack on a door. Alright, I see which direction those textures are going in. Pressure plate. Should I step on this one? I think on this. Yeah, I shouldn't have. You will see me in just a moment. I need to get out of that. Help. Alright, we are back. I figured my problem out, and now I actually tried to record, but it didn't work, so we are back once again. I sadly can't really remember where we stopped. Was it the pressure plates? I think it was the pressure plates, and they were right... Where were they? Somewhere with the doors, I think I remember. But I cannot remember where exactly. Here, yeah. So, what I recorded and don't really feel like re-recording now was the lever. Did I already say that? Kind of works. Yeah, then I came to the pressure plates and did the fundamental fault. The snow, I think I said in this part of the video, far too blue. The snowball... Oh, I just have the texture pick off, because I thought, this isn't blue. What am I talking about? So if I put that back on, you will see the snow is far too blue. So please load it up and please don't crash. This is a bit too blue, but the snowball... That's not what a snowball looks like. That's far too blue. That needs to become white. Ice looks perfect. The buttons... more sharp. But I don't really mind that. The redstone torch looks bubbly. The normal torch didn't. This one looks slightly more bubbly. The redstone ore works. That is nice. That's still an accident. Also the music discs. The jukeboxes. The sugarcane looks really nice. Pretty green and saturated. The clay works too. Yeah. Then I came to all the comparators and pointed out that is bedrock, if you think about it. But that also works. And then we are here at this... then we are here at the pumpkins. Yeah, so for the soul sand, I said this can work. This isn't too bad. If it would possibly spawn in the nether a bit differently, in that it could be rotated in either way, then I think it would look really good. The netherrack is supposed to look like a kind of jumbled mess, so that kind of works for me. It looks sharp, but if you think about what netherrack could actually be composed of, this makes total sense. Also, the jack-o'-lantern works, but no, the carved pumpkin works, but the jack-o'-lantern, in my opinion, doesn't work. This shading should be less of that shading, please. The cake, I said I'm more of a lemon drizzle person than such a cake with a lot of icing and things on it, but that works. And then the glass, clear glass. Thank you for making it clear. I like it. As I said in the beginning, I really like it. Oh, can you actually pass through that part of the glass? You can. I hope that's just in the server, in this debug world, because if you can actually pass through glass, that would be a problem. Anyway, stained glass has not been touched, so that is still the old one. The iron bars look a bit more 3D to me. I think with this edge it tries to be 3D. Once again, not a thing I like. But that is through all of those textures, trying to give them this 3D look. We will have to take that in some way or another. Then, those blocks, the mushroom blocks, yeah, here I just wanted to check out if the white had always been overshadowed by the red, because I don't believe it has. So I'm just quickly going to change this here. No, it hasn't. Those used to be white dots, and now those are white dots overshadowed by red. Once again, has the pixel artist ever seen a wet mushroom with white dots? Those dots are actually white, as I believe, because I have once seen one, and the dots are actually more like warts on some of those, and they are white. Yeah, I think that's the stem block. I mean, it looks weird, but I guess it's supposed to look weird. That looks like chocolate fudge. That is the chocolate fudge block. So down there we had the potato blocks. Here we have the chocolate fudge block. It also breaks in the same way as chocolate fudge would. Great. Caramel. And caramel with a hard sugar coating. And more chocolate fudge, and that could actually be a kind of cake. Yeah, it doesn't really look mushroomy. Those things, I believe that is actually that is a chiseled stone brick. I think that is, even though it's supposed to be chiseled, far too prominent. Far too prominent. Then this thing, I think the cracked stone brick works, the mossy stone brick works. Just that the chiseled one is pretty prominent. Those trapdoors, they are still okay. Yeah, then clear glass. Finally, you can see through it. Oh, I like that. I liked it a lot. The new melon. I don't like it, but I believe that is really just personal preference right there. The new melon block, I will not be a friend of that. I mean, it looks closer to what a melon actually looks like, but I just don't like it. That is really just my personal thing where I can't say which pixel is off or something. It's just that is the part of the pumpkin. Yeah, that works decently, I guess. There are those are vines. Yeah, they are transparent even on fast graphics mode. They work. Fence gates. Two bubbly ones again. Even though they the same as the fences, they are actually 3D, so they could get away with it if they were made a bit more 3D from the model on. But just as a block, too bubbly. Brewing stand, and we have just crashed again. Yeah, I'm just going to say what I think of the brewing stand right here, and just leave you with the frozen frame so that you can see what is going on here. So the brewing stand, I saw a few rogue pixels there that I do not believe that should be there. All right, now we don't have the picture any longer. But yeah, I saw a few pixels that I don't believe should actually be in there. So I'm just going to quickly try to show you and hope that we don't crash again. But this is what I wanted the video to be, just a kind of exploration of the new textures in all its glory. So we will start with the Buggy debug world here. The rogue pixels that I mean are those ones. This orange here on the blaze rod. Now I know the blaze rod here, we have it. Let's drop it on that piece of potato mash. It has got this orange outline and 2 orange pixels at the bottom, but generally it's yellow. Now this thing is made with a blaze rod and it really has the look of the blaze. Hang on. I think this will now definitely crash me, but I don't care. So let's set it to hard and spawn a it's summon, right? It's not spawn, it's summon a blaze, and look at him. He looks like that. So he has got, I think he's also got, has already been retextured, but he has got this this yellow and orange. So the only thing that is not really consistent here is just the blaze rod item that is not consistent, but everything else is. So I think this makes sense that this is kind of the arm of a blaze used as the brewing stand. Also, what I figured out is I always crash when I focus on a block, so maybe I just shouldn't focus on a block. Now here, the enchantment table with the new diamond texture, this one works. This one doesn't look too bad. And with the new obsidian texture, you really have it pop. And this is another thing that a lot of people said, well, apparently the new textures are supposed to pop. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, up to debate, and is heavily being debated in the Minecraft community. But that does pop. And I normally like such things, so it looks okay, it's just that it made out of 2 other textures that I don't think are good. The nether wart, kind of being more fuzzy around the edges than it used to be, but I think that looks good. I think that doesn't look too bad. Then nether brick, as I said, less bubbly. In the stair variant, however, yeah, so it's less bubbly than all the other things, but it's still a bit, but I think that works. So that tad bit of bubbliness on a dark background, the same thing as with the dark oak thing, works kind of. On a light surface, it doesn't work at all, like we see here. Yeah, so then we fly through this. Now, redstone lamp. Being made out of glowstone, obviously. Well. Now in the turned on state, I don't think it looks too bad. Still a bit blurry and a bit sharp at the same time. But in the turned off state, it looks like a blurry something. Cookie? I don't know. Doesn't look good. Endstone, I don't think that it changed, but if it did, still looks good. So do the end portal frames. Here we've got emerald ore. Also a bit of shadow on that. That looks quite nice. The Eye of Ender, I don't think it has changed. I think the item has changed. That looks more rounded. And on the items, I like my roundness. Like, for example, the apple looks really nice. On the items, I like that. But on the blocks, not so much. The cauldron. Can you fall in? Yes, you still can. Yeah, I mean, it is a 3D model, so on the cauldron, it's the only place where you get away with 3D, and exactly on that block, you just have the rim. that makes it slightly 3D, and here this rim that makes it look like a bit of an overhang. But otherwise, you don't really have too much on that one. The lily pad, I don't know if anyone has pointed it out, but it looks a bit like a butt. Moving swiftly on to the mycelium looks okay. More brewing stands. Then we have got the string. Interestingly, that when you stand in string. Oh no, that is just because that is level 0, yeah. The string, less white and more gray, meaning more noticeable. As the string is especially useful for traps. I'm just going to look if it actually looks the same. I possibly shouldn't be facing that. If it looks the same without the Weezer's pack on, because maybe that's just if the string is floating in midair in the debug world that it generally looks like that, but I'm pretty sure it used to be less brown. Alright, I'm mistaken. If it is actually just floating in the space, then it actually looks like that. Alright, sorry, but in that regard, maybe Jasper should actually redesign that too, that it is more hidden. I think could be a nice thing. Once again, trying to be 3D, not being 3D, and generally it's just looking like Kermit the Block. And that's not a good thing. The tripwires with the extremely dark wire that I believe should just be retextured. The tripwire itself, so the tripwire hook, too bubbly, as all of the things are. I don't know if the cocoa beans have been retextured, but they still make sense. And also that part here makes sense in terms of that it once again would have to be 3D, but it isn't. So that line is the closest you get, and it's not overly saturated, so that one works for me at least. The command block, I don't think that one has been retextured. Or has it? Has it? I don't think it has, but if it has, it still looks good. I'm really not sure if that changed or if it didn't. Yeah, here once again a lot of accidents have happened. Then we have the beacon, or the bacon, or the bunker, however you want to call it. Obsidian part must have changed there. Glass has changed, it's now see-through. Now, that part in the middle, it does pop. The part in the middle pops. The rest is nice, but that part in the middle, I mean, it's supposed to pop. Like, it gives off an infinite light into the sky and somewhere else. Well, that one just gives it off in the sky, but yeah, I guess it makes sense that it pops, but it's too similar in color to the diamond texture that, as we know, is terrible, so maybe change that. But I guess that just needs getting used to. The flower pot, don't think that one changed. If it did, then only a few pixels got moved around. All of the flowers in the flower pots. Now the oxide daisy. Once again, that should be more yellow, as I already said at the flower. This one, in turns in the flower pot, I believe, works pretty nicely. In a flower pot, that works pretty nicely. Yeah, the oxide daisy in different orientations here. The saplings, yeah. The mushroom still doesn't really work. Nope, the mushroom in the flower pot doesn't really work. As it doesn't really work in that, like, something is off. With that one, especially because the white pixels are actually just white, I can't pinpoint what it is, but it is like the stem, I believe. The stem looking a bit off, to say it like that, to me. What the heck is that supposed to be? Like, what is happening here? I didn't sign up for that. So apparently that is like, that is more or less missing textures or something. I'm confused. Like, if the texture doesn't load in, then you get that. I'm confused. Also, the item for the flower pot looking pretty nice in my opinion. So then let's go down this strange way here. Yeah, more yellow and not so dark. So the anvil being a 3D block, what's that? Oh, the skulls. Alright, skeleton skull. Does it actually? Oh no, it has a face, yeah. In different orientations. Alright. Yeah, so this thing, kind of works, I guess. And the cracks here, they once again, the cracks look 3D, which once again with a 3D model kind of works, but we would rather have it flat, to say the least. Well, golden pressure plates as the gold block. Not really my cup of tea. The iron one, as I said in the first clip, can work. Don't know if it actually makes sense. Compare it, still pretty much the same. Definitely a lot of more pixels there. And missing its underside. Missing its underside. Missing its underside, and a lot more rogue pixels, and much more blurry. Like, this used to be an arrow, now it's a blurry mess. Missing the underside and a blurry mess, that's not good. Quartz I already commented on, also the glass has not been touched. I also don't think the terracotta, hardened, stained hardened clay, for all the other people, has not changed, I think. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Once again, with the eyes that far in, and I mean, I definitely could get used to that front, but it looks a bit funny, I guess is the right word to use here, in the actual sense of what the word normally means, which is not ha ha ha, but more bizarre. Anyway, all of the glass has not changed, as I said. Here the wood once again, large fern, so that is the top of the fern, I guess. Yeah, that a lot of pixels, but this is basically how it's supposed to look like, so alright. Also the grass I think is okay, and the sunflower, a bit blurry, just saying, a bit blurry. Packed ice works. Coal block, it works, just the obsidian looks too much like a coal block. The carpets I don't think have been changed, so I think we can fly through them. What is that supposed to be? Those are supposed to be banners, but you can't see them. Daylight sensor. Now, the only thing that you could have gotten away with making it more bubbly isn't more bubbly. The daylight sensor looks pretty much the same. So maybe this is still going to be made new, but this is the only thing where those things being slightly bubbly and those parts, I would totally accept that. On that block you have not done it yet. Alright. So, I think we still have to go to this one. So this is a top of a peony. Yeah, that's the top of a rose bush. While the rows had noticeable forms, this one is, at least on the top, lacking them, in my opinion. So maybe a few more darker pixels there. All of those things work pretty nicely. Otherwise, yeah. Like here you can see those darker pixels are supposed to be the forms. Like this, a bit more on this other bush would work nicely. Sunflower, yeah. I don't know how you could make it much more sharp. So I guess it works, but hang on. This one and the one at the beginning, where was it even? It was all the way. Where was that sunflower? Here, yeah, here. That's the same texture. Yeah, I'm not too sure if you can actually make that sharper. I'm just saying it does look a bit soft, but I don't think you can make it much sharper, so maybe that can stay like that. And now we are coming to the doors, and the one thing I wanted to show you is kind of a deviate, as far as I know, of this door. Now this door already looks a bit like a chocolate bar, so I don't know where the trapdoors of that door are, but when I find them, I'm going to be able to show you a true chocolate bar in Minecraft. I feel like those trapdoors are actually not in this world. Anyway, the dark oak trapdoor. Oh, it hasn't been added to that version. Yeah. But the dark oak trapdoor that will exist in 1.13/1.14 looks like a chocolate bar. So yeah, it's not in here, but it looks like this, but just with another streak through the middle, meaning 4 of those small pieces. It looks like a chocolate bar. So then let's come to the last few textures that we are still missing here. And I think I'm actually going to split this into 2 separate videos. Sorry for that. Yeah, so here, the chorus fruit. I don't know if that has been retextured. I think it hasn't yet, so not really anything to see here. The same with the command blocks. They might have been retextured, and that might have been changed to green. I think that should be a black outline on the arrow. That should definitely be a black outline. Okay, the chorus fruit definitely changed. Or the flower, the chorus flower, yeah. That looks nice. It looks a bit blurry, but with 16 pixels you can't make a better flower. Like, this works. This works for me. And as this is a 3D texture, this is nice. The end rod finally has got a grey thing here instead of the purple. Yeah, I don't know. I always liked the purple part better. But I guess a lot of people actually wanted that. So here we go. We have it. Like here on the green one, this is slightly darker, so I think this should actually be black. Otherwise, the purple, that one looks a bit more scarred, if you know what I mean. It still works. It still works, but it looks more like cut out, which I guess possibly makes sense. The observer, did you change? I don't think you did. And please don't change. Please don't change the observer. The shulker boxes, oh, they changed, didn't they? Didn't they? We're gonna look at them now. I think that thing got changed, and now it looks like when it's open it doesn't look too bad, but when it's closed that looks a bit soft. I don't know if that has already been like this or if that is new, but if it already has been like this, I think this must be more pronounced, so that would be something to change. Those blocks here all have not been changed. Otherwise, I think that is it then, except for all the shulker boxes here. So yeah, thank you very much for watching in this video, and in the next one, in the part 2 for this video, we are going to take a look at a survival world. So thank you very much for watching. I also don't think they have changed. And goodbye.